Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the What He Said show with me, Will, and my boy,
Deshaun.
Deshaun, who?
Duran.
Yes, Deshaun Duran.
And this is the What He Said show. Today's topic is about NWA. So, Deshaun went to go see the movie NWA, which recently came out last week. I haven't seen it yet, which I'm still going to go see it. But I do know a little bit about it since I actually experienced it through the actual real time. This is just a biopic. So we're going to talk about that today, Deshaun. So tell us about NWA.
I went to go see NWA. It was good. It was really good. One thing about NWA, it brought up the topic of whether it was a good thing or a bad thing that NWA got popular. Some people feel like with gangster rap and drugs and calling women bitches and everything that NWA introduced to hip hop, that it had a bad influence because it basically was the start of all of that, all of the gangster rap, all of the bad influences. But a lot of other people feel like the NWA was a good thing because they did open up the door for the West Coast. You know, we didn't hear anything from the West Coast before NWA, so I kind of think that's a good thing too. And it introduced us to Dr. Dre and Ice Cube and these legends that now, 30 years later, are doing, great things. Dre has, Dre Beats, and he is a mega millionaire, and of course Ice Cube with Friday and all the things that he's done too. So
iconic movie, actually.
Yeah, iconic.
A good classic.
Right. One thing about NWA, I'll say, it definitely gave me a deeper understanding of who Ice Cube and Dr. Dre are.
Okay.
And some people feel as though it didn't show the total story for Dr. Dre because of the
abuse allegations.
The abuse allegations, and
So do you think? So did it gave a good depiction of them as well as do you think they did the same justice for Eazy-E?
I think they did.
Seeing that he's
the
not
thing
here.
with me, I kind of already knew everyone's story.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a mind blowing thing to me.
So was it more of a nostalgic moment?
It was more nostalgic, and also the acting was really good. Like, it was a good film as far as like the acting and the cinematography and stuff like that. But as far as like learning stuff, and the storyline was good, but it was a storyline that I already knew.
Okay.
So it wasn't like a big.
Well, in most biopics, you do know their story already. You just get a little bit more insight and detail that you may and may have not.
But then the generation behind us, they don't know the story. So.
Yeah, for us, for a person that grew up in that age and time frame where NWA came out with Fuck the Police and all this other stuff, we might know it. But like I said, it's a good thing for generations behind us to know what Ice Cube and Dr. Dre came from.
Right.
And as well as Eazy-E, even though he's not here anymore, but. Now that's a reintroduction to people who never knew about
Eazy-E. So I think it's always good to reintroduce those people who started so much and had such a significant impact on something.
Well, you know what? That can actually be an inspiring story because they came from being gangster rappers or living a hood life to multimillionaires who've actually transitioned beyond what the stereotypical black man is supposed to be.
Exactly.
Ice Cube started not only Friday, but actually, a ton of movies, but even family films. He turned to the family film guy, and like you said, and Dr. Dre, who's still an iconic producer as well as rapper, and now he had the Beats by Dre, which came tremendous. Like, oh my God, like everybody want Beats by Dre.
And I thought it made black men look strong in the movie, which I thought was a good thing. It just kind of made us look like to me, the guys, they looked smart too. They didn't look dumb. They looked like they kind of knew what they were doing, even though Eazy-E was a gangster. He came off really smart to me. And how
I heard someone else say the same thing.
Mastermind and everything. Even though he got ripped off too.
Yeah. But somebody else said the same thing. They was like, I never knew Ice Cube was, I knew he was smart.
Exactly. Ice Cube was like a poet. Exactly. So I think. Well, I never thought Ice Cube was dumb. I feel like in order to do all that he has done, you had to have some type of brain.
Okay.
But even with all that being said, there are still people who feel like they introduced some of the most negative images.
Now let's talk about that, which they did. Against that was kind of the moment of like you said, the fucking police and the whole black against the police kind of situation.
Not just that, but they really glorified drugs and calling women bitches.
Yeah, it was the start of the
they had to
rap
introduce that, and I think some people feel like they started a trend that's still going on today. As far as
I think the depiction of women or degrading women is that was way before them and going to be even after them as we continue to see.
Right.
But I think they kind of came away from the whole gangster gun shooting thing. Like, and more now, and to me, in this day and age, it's more like party music.
Right.
It's more of a drug kind of party kind of feel now versus I'm trying to shoot you, you trying to shoot me.
But you have to also
kind
remember
of
that to you, it comes off that way, but to someone who's 20 years younger than you, it may come off.
You know what? And you're right. Everybody gets a different feel from whatever artist that they listen to. You know, so for me, like I said, to me, today's music is more dancey, like club turn up, bottles, let's make some money, get this money however way you know how, and get women and all this stuff like it's always been, but it's in a different feel. I think a lot of stuff. I think. Like you said, in that movie, well, not so the movie, but N.W.A. in general did bring the West Coast sound, which introduced us to more and more people after them, like Snoop Dogg and Tupac, and now to these up-to-date people like DJ Mustard and Nipsey Hussle and all these people. Now, you know, so it's like, okay, now that they have a voice.
Right. Well, some people feel like, since hip-hop was growing anyway, somebody from the West Coast would have broke through before them. And people say that on the East Coast, it was a more conscious sound that was like, of course, fuck the police, but not without saying fuck the police, saying a whole bunch of other uplifting music from like Chuck D and Public Enemy, and they had
a different array of music.
Yeah, exactly.
They had more of a variety.
Right.
Well, you know, of course, with New York being the home of hip hop anyway, so they're going to always have that thing. But even now, artists feel like New York doesn't have a sound anymore. Everybody wants to sound like someone else. They want to sound like the South rappers now, or maybe the East Coast, or maybe a Chicago rapper. You know, they feel like they don't have a voice anymore, and they try to bring back the New York sound. But do you think the New York sound is dated?
I don't think the New York sound is dated. I just don't think it's what's hot right now.
Yeah, I think because everything in the music industry comes in waves.
Right.
So you know, the New York. I guess style or the new people, up and coming people from New York style will be popular again.
I mean, Fetty Wap is from Jersey,
but he sounds like a down south rapper, and that's the problem that they're having. They said that everybody from the north now or from New York surrounding
areas. I feel like when they rap, they sound like they're from New York.
I think that music is very much down south party music.
Because Nicki sounds New York when she raps.
When she's not doing pop music.
Yeah. Well, when she raps to me,
she sounds like a pop artist.
But
Nicki is a hip hop artist. Now, this last
to me, I still hear New York in her
but this last Pink Print album to me is her best album to date for right now, because she's still going to continue to make music, should I say? But in the other stuff, she just sounds like normal.
Right.
Yeah, when she spit and you listen, you're like, okay.
Even when Fetty Wap spit.
On what track?
He spits a little bit.
I heard it, Jay.
I've heard some tracks that he raps a little bit.
Will you please listen to me? Because I haven't heard it.
I hear up north.
I hear auto-tune party music.
Well, of course, when he sings, it's
and I'm sick of it. And he sounds like every song to me, so I'm just saying. That's what I get.
New York just doesn't have a lot of people coming out of it, period.
Well, since Jay-Z is also from New York, what makes him different and transcend and continue to stay relevant?
He got money.
So money makes him
control.
So his money makes him get the best beats or the best sound. Like his flow is still the same.
Well, I think with Jay-Z, it's a totally different story when you're comparing the Jay-Z to like a new guy.
No, but I'm still saying in general, out of New York, Jay-Z has the only one that stayed relevant through each wave.
I'm trying to think of somebody else, but I can't right now.
Exactly, nobody.
Well, what I think makes Jay-Z stays relevant is, well, first of all, Jay-Z is extremely talented. I mean, got to give it to him.
Right, I'm about to say, is it because Jay-Z's a lyricist?
And he's a smart businessman as well, and he controls a lot, and his influence. I think Jay-Z is the type of person, when he walks into a boardroom, he grabs attention, and he, at this point in hip-hop, is like one of the top people in hip-hop.
Yeah, but I don't think Jay-Z has Jay-Z has his own sound. Right. Jay-Z doesn't sound like every other New York. He don't sound like a DMX, Ja Rule, 50 Cent kind of rapper.
Well, all those guys have their own sound too.
No, they all sound the same.
You think so?
Ja Rule and DMX, you almost couldn't tell the difference at one point. Because they both had that straight, hard street, the lock. most people on Bad Boy, like they all had they had that New York sound. Even Troy Ave trying to bring back that New York sound. He sounded like a dated rapper.
Right. But I think Jay-Z, I think staying relevant, period, has a lot to do with what you're doing behind the scenes as well as in front of the scenes.
So he has his hand on the pulse of music.
Well, something like that. I think Jay-Z does a lot of stuff behind the scenes to not only make him stay relevant, but make him stay successful, make him stay rich.
He's transit.
And that's not just Jay-Z. That's any artist who's been out and they're still relevant for 20 years or more. They've done stuff with their sound as well as with their business to make sure they stay relevant.
Most definitely. So since we're back, to tie this back to N.W.A. and music in general, the West Coast really don't have that many big artists right now.
Yeah, some people. The Game, YG.
Yeah, YG. Who else?
Somebody I can think of off top.
I mean, besides DJ Mustard, he's a producer.
Somebody I can think of off top.
But I can't really think about anybody up top. Is it Kid Ink? Is he
Kendrick Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, is he all that? Well, he's the biggest right now. How can we forget about Kendrick?
There's so many rappers.
Kendrick actually is one of my favorite right now. So I don't know how to forget about it. Yeah. Forgive me, Kendrick, about that. But he is the top on the West Coast right now.
He's the top in rap to me.
Well, now I can't say that because Drake is up there too.
But it's a lot of them up there.
But J. Cole.
Kendrick is definitely one of the top guys.
Yeah, right, there's a couple who are ranked.
We can debate all day about who is.
But it's more than just him who's ranking up.
But when it comes to the West Coast, Kendrick is definitely holding it.
Yeah, so Kendrick is holding out the West Coast now. But that wraps up us talking about the NWA.